windows down and ready to ride. One by one, billion by billion, they're holding up half the sky. Raise your hand if you're ready and willing, if you know it's time. Time for a girl on time. Time for a girl on time. Time for a
Hello, everybody. I hope everybody's doing well. Oh, I almost hit the very wrong button. That wouldn't work. I hope everybody's doing well. My ear, I feel like I'm getting an ear infection because I have baby ears. So I get baby ear infection problems. Oh, it hurts. But we've powered through. Just a quick public service announcement. If you don't care about my face or my ears or my voice or any of it, videos posted on the video channel where you're going to see more of this. More court here, but the original one, or the one is on the video channel. Does it hurt if I pull my earlobes? It feels like a eustachian thing. It's one side only. It hurts a lot when I swallow. That's what she said. Oh, hey, Fletcher boy. Thank you. Let me say thank you. Thank you. I so appreciate that. It's hurting less because I just took some Tylenol. So we're working on it. Also, Courtney, I was just thinking about this today because I haven't been sick to go to the doctor in quite a while. But here's what I realized. I can go to the doctor for free. No problem. I could go to the clinic if I could get in, or I could go to the hospital if it was bad. And nobody would charge me. They would see me and they would diagnose me or give me the test that I need. If I needed testing and I had to go to the lab, that would be free. I wouldn't pay for that. But if they said, yes, your ear is infected and you need these antibiotics, I would have to pay for those. So that's sort of where the system falls apart. I don't know if you were super sick in the hospital and they had to give you like medicine in the hospital. I think that they will do that for you. But anyways, actually cold does not feel good. I had a heated pad on it earlier, like a heating thing on it earlier. I used to have tubes in my ears, but my ears are not very big. I'm serious. Like I have wee baby ears. So anyways, regardless, I already made the video for this, so it's posted on the video page, and we're gonna watch 2 cases. I know what you mean, Courtney. I'm going to think about it after the live. You know what I mean? Like I did a lot this morning already, and I think that the best bet is just to wait and think of the lives, and then we'll deal with it from there. Also, you know how you can like divert does anybody ever feel like they have 2 throats or like 2 sides of your throats distinctly that you can swallow on? So right now, if I was to drink this like open, it would hurt on my ear. But if I like direct my tongue in a certain way, I can like block this part of my throat, I guess. I don't know. Anyways, okay. I already prepped the video. Yeah, Judge, wait. So we are in I thought it was their nose, her nose she twitched. Did I burn my throat recently? No. I may have cut it. I had some crusty bread. Trying to think. Yeah. Ugh. Okay. Like I said, we're in Thurston County. This is going to be the first case that we hear. This one's not posted on the channel yet, but the one that's on the title card, the thumbnail about the bad neighbor threatening, that is already posted on the channel and will be coming up after this. So let's buckle in, watch a little bit of this. Yeah, let's go. Oh, hit the like button, please. Please, and thank you.
Mr. Rayberger back. I see we've got Mr. Herrick on. This is number 24-76. Okay, and we had previously continued this case in order for everybody to get ready to file documents to use as part of the decision in the case. It looks like some additional documents were filed, and I have reviewed all of them. So I've reviewed the petition and the statements provided in that. I've reviewed the response and the attachments that were provided there. And I am probably about ready to issue a ruling based on the pleadings and filings. But before I do that, I'm going to give each party a chance to make any additional statements or any additional arguments that they would like to make, starting with you, Ms. Metz, because you're the petitioner. But before I do that, I'm going to swear you in. So please raise your right hand. And do you swear that the testimony that you give in this case will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, now the microphone right there in front of you is going to allow Mr. Rayberger and Mr. Herrick to hear you. So
Okay.
you do your best to speak right into that. And you all let me know if you don't hear her, okay? All right, Ms. Metz, go ahead.
Well, first of all, Your Honor, I would like to just point out that the material that was sent to you by Mr. Herrick's attorney, Joe Rayberger, both those lawsuits were instituted by Mr. Herrick. And they were eventually settled after a great deal of consternation and discussion and compromise, okay? The second thing I would like to show you is that I got this picture because I was sent the information that Mr. Rayberger sent to you. I got copies as well.
Mhm.
And the one picture here shows the part.
Thank you, Chris. I will try. I'm hoping. Thank you so much. Sorry, I make that face because I forget that it mutes me automatically when I press that thank you button. So I'm speaking and then it mutes me and I'm frustrated by myself pressing that button. But thank you so much, Chris. And what I'm hoping is that it's maybe just I slept funny. I don't know. We'll figure it out. I'm robust. I'll be okay. Plus, I feel better now that I'm in the Zoom call. I feel back at home. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Thank you again, Chris.
The part of the fence that fell down.
Yep.
And as you will notice, there is room on the easement to get around that. And Mr. Herrick's contention was that everything that he was doing was because I had blocked, the report from the patrolman that came down that I called for after I had experienced a very frightening episode where Mr. Herrick. May I approach you, sir?
Sure.
You will see that he has turned his front loader and is directly onto my property. And I am 10 feet away from him. And he is telling me that the next time
You
that my fence
Have,
comes
have a
down,
seat when you're,
Okay.
yeah, that way everybody can hear.
Okay.
All right.
pick it up. Well, quite frankly, Your Honor, I don't think I would have been capable of picking it up in the first place. And in the second place, if he was so concerned about it, why was he picking it up and throwing it into my front yard? And let me tell you, when you've got a front end loader coming at you, it is terrifying. And that is why I asked for the protection order. Because obviously, Mr. Herrick doesn't care about what the reactions of his actions towards me are. And my husband and I have dealt with him for 20 odd years. And he moved in, we've been there 5 years maybe when he moved in. He moved in, and practically the very first thing that he started complaining about to us was the speed bump that was in front of our home. We didn't put the speed bump in there, Your Honor. It was there when we moved in, and we didn't mind. But he minded, and he, that was one of the issues that was in, I think, the first time he sued us. Since all of this, I have spent several thousands of dollars, and I have a brand new chain link fence that goes on my property down to not the end of my property, but the
Humble brag, a speed bump and a full new chain link fence. Damn. Can't hide money, as Mikey would say.
where I have a second driveway that goes into the big barn. So that should solve the problem. But I am not in the least bit happy that, with the thought that that should solve the problem, because it won't. Because even though this fence has posts that are anchored in concrete, I fully expect that he will come up with some idea of why he had the right to damage or destroy the fence, which is what he did with our wooden fence. I am 83 years old, Your Honor. I am a recent widow. I don't need this hassle. I've got enough to deal with. And that's why I asked for the protection order. I just want him to leave me alone. I never talked to him. We are prevented, the second order, we were prevented from being able to walk down to the end of the easement and look out at the water. That's fine with me, because I don't want to go anywhere near him. I don't want to have anything to do with this man, and I want him to just leave me alone. And I don't know how else to get it than with the protection.
All right. Anything else, Ms. Metz?
No, I think that's about covers it.
Would you mark that as a defense exhibit? Okay. Mr. Rayberger, you want to present the case on behalf of Mr. Herrick?
Yeah, thank you, Your Honor. Joe Rayberger for Tom Herrick, and Tom Herrick's also here on Zoom, as you made reference. I just want to call the court's attention to some of the documents we submitted. I know you've had a chance to review them. We did, initially, we submitted the incident report from the Sheriff's Department, which confirmed, Dr. Herrick's position that the fallen fence was blocking the roadway and that it was necessary to be removed for emergency access and vehicular access, and that there was no criminal activity.
Hello?
This is the loan.
Yeah, hello.
I'm not sure who's speaking.
Whoever's, just a second, Mr. Rayberger, whoever's just called in, would you please mute your microphone until your case is called?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
That happens. All right, sorry, Mr. Rayberger.
No problem. This is the loan access point for the Herrick family to reach their property. Tom can attest to this, but he hasn't, he's never been on the Metz's property other than the easement that transverses it. He doesn't approach Mrs. Metz or talk with her. She's the one that came out and confronted him when he was out clearing the easement. The pictures we showed, the not just of the fallen fence, but then also the fence was in disrepair. You know, there's pictures we showed, I think we noted in Exhibit 4 from 2013, to where other portions of a fallen fence. Dr. Herrick didn't damage or remove the fence. You know, he just removed it out of the easement and placed it on the property. You know, I think Your Honor might get a picture of this case. I mean, it's aged, but there is a long history, which we don't dispute, between the parties. You know, there has been in the past lawsuits between the parties. Those have resulted in anti-harassment orders being entered against the Metzes and in favor of the Herrick family. Those were by, you know, retired Judge Hicks, and then extended by Judge Pomeroy, and then Judge McPhee. Petitioners, Metzes, have sought protection orders against the Herricks in the past, which have been denied. With respect to the allegations in the petition itself about, you know, some of the prior history.
Let's just go ahead and point out what a terrible way this is to live. Could you imagine fighting with your neighbors for 20 years? Oh my God. I actually can't imagine. It'd be crazy. Anyways, okay, let's keep
You know, for example, the fence that had to be repainted, we submitted some photographs of those. While they claimed it was in relation to a re-election campaign, it also coincided with some terms of a settlement agreement the parties had reached, which had 4 more years left on it. And the fence was then painted bright orange with bright lettering, 4 more years, which, you know, only the Herricks drive by that easement. You know, we haven't submitted, we could have submitted further documents from those cases, but you'll see in, for example, the injunction order that was issued by Judge McPhee back in 2012 talked about requiring the Metzes to remove further obstructions from the easements, not place further obstructions within the easements. We just don't see anything here that would indicate any sort of basis for an anti-harassment order against the Herricks. Or Tom Herrick. And as the history shows here, all the prior cases have resulted in anti-harassment orders against the Metzes. And there's been sort of a continual theme along those lines. Anyway, Tom, would you like to say anything if you'd like to address the court, or if you want to be sworn in first? But I think we'd ask your Honor to dismiss the petition.
Yes.
All right.
Can you hear me?
All right. Yes, Mr. Herrick, before you, excuse me, before you testify, I'm going to swear you in. So can you please raise your right hand? And do you swear that the testimony you give in this case will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead, sir.
I'd just like to say that, first of all, she came out, I was removing the fence from the easement, and they've had a long history of blocking the easement. The fence was sat there all day. It was difficult. My wife and daughter were leaving that morning. They couldn't, we cleared a path around it so they could get out. And then when we came home I left a little later in the morning. We came home at about 6 o'clock at night. The fence was still there in the roadway. I went up and removed it. That's true. She came out and confronted me. I was not ever on her property. I didn't approach her. I didn't get off the mini excavator.
He didn't get off. She's a maker. That's terrible. Hi. He didn't get off. William, we are talking real nasty. Just you wait till the next case. But if you can't wait and you don't like me, it's already posted on the channel. Just make sure you leave a like. So many neighbors fight in this county, and Haley did not leave. She will be back. I promise you. She'll be back. She's a star of the show in some ways. Also, thanks for being here.
And I removed the fence from the easement. I didn't even, she initiated, she was yelling at me. I asked her why she didn't remove the fence. And she said, why should I? and that's the kind of just the attitude that they've had for a long time. I mean, if you look at the previous stuff, and not only us, but other neighbors have had issues with them for a long time. And that's, but I've never been on their property. I've never approached her. I've never initiated a conversation with her. She had came out, was yelling at me. Why was I removing the fallen down fence from the driveway? I mean, that's.
Aw, Chris Engleby, I like you a whole lot too, my friend. Thank you. Do, 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 do. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Please drive safe if you're driving tonight. This case seems like the type where he's smart to have gotten a lawyer. They have a lot of shit flying back and forth between them. Again, this county, oh, it's a nightmare. It's close to me. This is close to me, Thurston County. I mean, closer than most courts that we watch anyways, considering that I live in Canada. Okay.
That's the situation. She can kind of skew it like, oh, she's this poor widow, but everybody that's lived around them for years. And that's kind of the situation, Your Honor.
All right, thank you, sir. All right, I've reviewed all the exhibits that have been received, considered the testimony that's been offered from the beginning with the initial petition to the testimony that I've heard here today. And actually, my initial impressions of this have changed very little. There was no basis to issue.
Okay. Cellulite Yoga Pants already knows what the next case is going to be. That's funny. Yeah, everyone does have an easement. Hi, girl dad cooking up deliciousness. Cellulite Yoga Pants, that makes me laugh so much. Vancouver, Seattle North, yes, and I live on Vancouver Island, so take that as you may.
An anti-harassment order when this was filed. There's still been no basis demonstrated. The activity that's claimed to be harassment is, in my view, under the totality of the circumstances that are presented here, simply ordinary usage of an easement. I think anyone who has an easement for ingress and egress has the right to keep it clear. And any party whose estate is burdened with an easement has an obligation to keep it clear. And I can't interpret this as anything other than Mr. Herrick removing an obstruction on an easement, which even if there wasn't a settlement agreement between the parties, it apparently specifically allows that. A person who has a dominant easement would be allowed to do that regardless if it were obstructing their use of their easement. So there's just nothing here that.
Somebody's got to tell me, what's a dominant easement? Right? Like, isn't the easement the city's property? I thought that was how this all like got going, is that an easement is like shared property maybe between the road and a property. Jonathan was at the gym today. Good job, Jonathan. Good job, Jonathan. I was definitely not at the gym today, but there's no other way to twist that. That's just straight facts. Anyways, oh, I guess I could say, but there's still time left today. We all know I'm not going to the gym today. Chris, did you send a super chat last night that I missed? I bet you did, and I bet I missed it. I'll say thank you. Do. Thank you, Chris. Yeah, I love you. Dominant easement, extra. That's a cost on top. It's like guacamole. You sure you want dominant easement? Because that costs extra. It's like avocados and fucking delicious guacamole. Or hummus. They charge extra for hummus. It's like double cheese, double meat. You know, when you go somewhere and they're like, you want double meat? Side of sour cream. You know what gets me is when you order a side of sour cream somewhere and you realize you're like, I think I just paid more for that sour cream in a tiny little container than I would if I bought sour cream. Like a whole package. Another thing, it's like I have like 4 items that I travel with. We're not even going to talk about it. It's weird. I'm a weird person. I'm a mess.
Constitutes any kind of harassment. Easements are often a source of friction between people, and I see many cases where people come to court where their dispute is over an easement. This one is a little different in the sense that the parties have been to court before and had their rights settled, but nothing about it constitutes harassment. That's an entirely different thing, pattern and course of conduct directed at a specific person. And that's not what this is. So I'm going to find that harassment has not been proved by a preponderance of the evidence. And I will dismiss the petition.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Denied.
Thank you.
So now he's going to take forever. And I'm going to zip us forward in time to where it was. Let's see here.
Yes, Your Honor.
Oh, here we go.
There was no temporary order grant.
Okay, so this is our main
Here.
event for the
So
evening.
we'll go ahead.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again, if you're just getting here, thank you for being here. Oh, and cheese curds. Yeah, Chris Angleby. But cheese curds, like I don't travel with cheese curds, but like those 4 items I need like on vacation. If I'm going to have a good vacation, I need to have access to those 4 things. What a weird life I live. Like cheese curds would make it, you know, take it to the top, but that's like my hotel room stuff. Anyways, Haley is back, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, Bad Scooter. Hello. Haley's back. That's right. And so is our sir here. You guys, I don't think. No. So first of all, I stay at hotels that have, so sour cream is something that I buy once I arrive somewhere. And I'm not kidding. But I will literally like almost usually when I go somewhere, I'll go buy like supplies for hotel room supplies. Those 4 items. But nowadays I'm going to bring my own Coke or bring my own coffee, sorry. Coke probably will be fine, I guess. I do prefer it with the sugar, but whatever. And then sour cream I can get where I'm at. And so can cream for the coffee. But you know what I mean? Just keeping it in the fridge. And that way when I inevitably get a quesadilla, which I always will wherever I am in the world, and I only eat 1 piece of it because I'm inevitably still got my travel stomach, which doesn't let me eat very much right away. in the middle of the night, I'll be very happy if I have sour cream to dip my cold quesadilla in. And Chris, thank you. I do have enough coffee at the moment. You got me sorted for a whole month. Okay, this is our main event. Like I said, if you're sick of this, this is already posted on the main channel. Main channel only, well, not only channel. I keep saying that every time I do it. Anyways, so Haley is the petitioner, and we should watch the edited version, but we're not. We're watching the raw version, if you will. So, without further delay,
With your case, this is Miss Baird Lira's petition for an anti-harassment order against Mr. Carter. This case was filed on March 22nd. There was no temporary order granted, and the hearing was set for today. It appears that
okay, so I have to interrupt already, and I didn't put this in the video that I edited, but I thought about it at the time. When he said that, okay, this is an order that was filed on the 22nd of March, but no temporary order was issued. I thought to myself, oh, this isn't going to be a good case. These people, like, the judges are pretty good at issuing a temporary order if the situation warrants. And so the likelihood of it getting an order a little bit slim in my mind, just hearing that. But maybe I'm wrong. Spoiler alert, I'm wrong. And the accusations seem to be a little more serious than what I thought. But I don't understand why there wasn't a temporary order issued. It's a little confusing on that point.
Mr. Carter was served on April 2nd. So I'm going to ask you, Mr. Carter, are you ready to go ahead with this hearing?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, very good. All right, I'm going to have both parties raise your right hands, please. And do both of you swear that the testimony that you give in this case will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, then Ms. Baird Lira, you get to go first as you're the petitioner in this case. Keep in mind that everything that you have previously filed, including your petition, is already part of the record and can be used as my basis to decide the case. So it's not necessary for you to repeat everything that you've already either submitted in writing or in exhibits before. So go right ahead.
Okay. Thank you, Your Honor. So we have had the 3 incidents with Mr. Carter now. The last one being the most severe. So when he came to our door complaining of our dog and threatened our dog and our children. After that incident, I called the police and they instructed me to come to the court and file a protection order. That would be our best case scenario. So every incident has been an issue about our dog barking and bothering him. Our yards are parallel to each other. There is another property in between us, so we don't share any property lines. But he is kind of up on a hill and can see down into our yard. So, but our dog is never outside for more than 10 or 15 minutes at a time. We haven't had any complaints from any other neighbors or any complaints with the HOA about noise with our dog or our home or anything. The neighbor that is in between mine and Mr. Carter's home has had similar troubling encounters with him as well. He did seem to be mumbling and possibly intoxicated. I'm not sure. So when the second encounter we had when my son was outside and heard some yelling, he did say, "Stop or I'll shoot." That was what my son thought he heard. We went outside and didn't hear anything further, so we didn't contact the police at that time. But then it was about 2 weeks later that Mr. Carter came down and knocked on our door and made the comments he did to me about, I don't want to kill your dog or hurt your kids, but if I have to take matters into my own hands, I will. So that's why we're asking for the order to be granted, that he
she is presenting this very well. This is serious, isn't it? Like, what the heck? I mean, again, this is crazy neighbor drama, because I hear dogs bark, you hear kids play, you can't get mad at that. You don't get to knock on somebody's door and complain about that, and you certainly don't get to threaten to pew them. I find that incredibly alarming. Now, granted, we are just hearing one side of the story right now, but I'm not getting Karen vibes from her. Are you guys? I'm not. You notice there's very little alarmist, even though some of what she's saying is very alarming, and she could be probably a little more, I don't know, amped, but she seems incredibly calm and not in a, like, it's leaning towards her telling the truth. She just seems very truthful at this point. Again, let's see what happens. Judge over here, he is hard to read. I will give you that. Now, we watch him a lot, week after week after week, and I think that you can see he's not impressed. Yeah, he is still not impressed. He doesn't like to deal with some of these, but he really does not like to deal with dangerous situations. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm thinking. It just seems so very odd. Anyways, and remember, they're not even direct neighbors. He lives on a hill that looks down at their house. Creepy. Oh my God. Okay. Let's continue.
not harm us and not contact us any further.
Let me ask you, how long have you been neighbors with Mr. Carter?
We purchased our home in November of 2022. So we've only lived here for about a year and a half.
And he already lived there when you moved in?
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
Continuously since November of 2022?
Yes.
All right, I just wanted to get a time frame here. And the incidents that you talk about, with the exception of the most recent one on March 12th, are not dated. So can you tell me when that first alarming contact took place?
The first contact, Mr. Carter walked down to our house and knocked on our front door, was in October of last year, so 2023. My husband answered the door and spoke to him. He was just expressing concern and complaint about our dog barking in the yard. That time we had a new friend come over for dinner. We had just let the dog outside to calm down for a minute, and Mr. Carter came right down to our house to start complaining about the dog barking. So that was about 6 months ago.
All right, is there anything else you need me to know before I hear from Mr. Carter?
No, I don't think so.
This all stems from a hair jealousy. He watches her luscious locks. She has nice hair. She has lovely hair. Thank you guys for being here, by the way. Bad Scooter, my neighbors watched our cat for us your cats for you for a couple weeks ago when you're in Mexico. You came home to find that they had built a fort for the cats in your living room. They are awesome neighbors. The question remains, did you leave the fort up? That's the question we have, right? MB, happy belated anniversaire and welcome. How are you doing? This case is weirdly not about a Karen finally. I don't know that he's a perv. He's just like, I think he's the Karen. Oh, the fort's still up. Okay. That's cool. I like it. I like it a lot. Are you sure the fort was for the cats though, really? Yes. But like all day long is like sad. But I don't think that these people have the dog out all day long. And I believe that because they live in an HOA, and aren't HOAs notorious for being quick to cite people for those types of things? At least I have gotten that vibe from HOA stories that I've seen. Yeah, he is still a little bit creepy though. Chris, thank you so much. Boom, 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 boom. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You're amazing. You rock, you rock, you rock. Camera shows neighbors playing fort in your living room. That'd be funny. I like it though. Bingo! Welcome to the club, ladies and gentlemen. HOA living does sort of look good. That's what I hear from a lot of people, that they stick their noses. Who got it? Erica got it. Yeah. I love it. Oh, we love it when it's people we know and people we don't know. Make it clear. But we love it. Anyways, okay. Like I said, today is going to be a bit of a short show because I think I have an ear infection brewing, but I'm feeling pretty good. So we're fingers crossed that it's a passing thing. And, but anyways, and Hax is here too. Hi. Okay. Let's keep going. We want to hear his side of the story. Maybe he's going to say, you know what? This lady's crazy. I have never been over there. I didn't say any of that kind of stuff. I mean, then we have a decision to make, okay? Then we have a decision to make. Chuck's here as well. Yeah. Let's listen. I'm sure he's going to totally dispute what she says, right? Right? Right?
Okay, Mr. Carter, let me hear your side of it.
Good morning, Your Honor. Yes, the first time I went over there, I was polite and I let them know that their dog has a very specific kind of a howlish bark to it, a very kind of unique sound. And I understand that just about everybody in there has a dog, and I've went to other people also to let them know that something just has to be done. What I find the most disturbing about this is yes, I did say, I said to her, I don't want to have to kill your dog. I don't want to have to do it to get this settled.
Look at the judge. The judge is like, my dude, are you fucking saying this right now? Let's just roll that back. We're gonna listen to him in his entirety again. He doesn't seem to think there's anything wrong with what he said here. I'm alarmed more. Look at the lady's face. Look at Haley's face. She's like, this fucking guy. And the judge is not happy. The judge is a dog guy. He's not willing to admit it, and he's like, I have to remain neutral. But let's be realistic here. If you want to shoot somebody's dog, you are evil. If you want to shoot the dog because they have a unique bark, is this a joke? Do you know how petty I am that I would absolutely record the dog's bark? I would lure that man with recordings of it. I would take my dog to safety until I could get him arrested. I would drive him mad. Oh, you want to hear a dog bark? Allegedly.
And ever since the third event, I haven't heard their dog out barking.
Forgot, we got to go back.
Over there, I was polite and I let them know that their dog has a very specific kind of a howlish bark to it. So a very kind of unique sound. And I understand that just about everybody in there has a dog, and I went to other people also to let them know that something just has to be done. What I find the most disturbing about this is yes, I did say I said to her, I don't want to have to kill your dog. I don't want to have to do it to get this settled. And ever since the third event, I haven't heard their dog out barking anymore. So if they would have just did that, whatever they did recently, the first or the second time, there wouldn't have been a third time. And that's all I really have, sir. She's twisted the words. That's not.
The judge is so fucking livid right now. Knowing this judge, this is judge on edge. This judge is on edge. He does not normally look like this. He does, look at his face. He's just like I don't know if, does this guy not read the room? Is he not reading the room here? Is he not? Courtney's calling it. I think that's true, right? He's not allowed to come onto their property just because they're being loud. He literally admitted to what she said. It's so exactly, William twisted the words. I think Haley did probably put them perfectly. Chris is reminding me of the real things as usual. Thank you, Chris. This is like, this is nuts. And I would legit let's see what the judge has to say.
Quite how it went, but I'm not a violent person. I just recently came back from overseas and in August of this year, and August of 23, excuse me. And the only reason I'm back here is because I got medically retired, and I'm just trying to fix my house back up to the way it used to be before I left. And I just don't want to hear all of the dogs barking all the time. Now, I have went to other neighbors. I have one next door neighbor that I went to several times, and I was advised by the HOA to contact the Thurston County Humane Society, and I did all that, and I complained a few times, and I just found out yesterday that they are actually being fined for noise pollution And so I have avenues now that I'm aware of that are working. But before, everyone was saying, well, there's nothing much we can do. There's nothing much we can do. Apparently that's not true. Apparently there are avenues now. Thank you.
All right, thank you, sir. Okay, it's not a problem to complain about somebody's dog or generally about noise. That sort of thing happens all the time in normal life in neighborhoods where people are living close to each other. Some people aren't even particularly nice about it when they do complain. They can be rough, they can be crude, they can be mean, but none of that is harassment. None of that is a problem. It's just the kind of thing that you encounter living a normal life. Is sometimes you encounter people who aren't particularly pleasant. However, it's a little bit over the top to tell a mother that her kids and her dog might get shot if they're not quiet. I think that sort of thing could cause any reasonable person quite a bit of concern. And then today, hearing this, just the way the testimony, Mr. Carter's testimony was presented, was that would just be something that might have to happen if his needs weren't met and he didn't have another avenue to, have the dogs be quiet. And I don't think off the top of my head that I could imagine a circumstance where it would be appropriate for somebody to shoot a neighbor's dog just on the basis that the dog is loud and disturbing. And the fact that Mr. Carter would just sort of casually mention that that's among his options is a little bit concerning. And I think that the reaction that Ms. Baird Lira has to that is entirely normal and appropriate. And any reasonable person who was faced with those confrontations and comments would believe that she's being threatened and intimidated into silence, or even worse. So I don't think there's any question that those comments were made with the purpose of causing mental anguish to Miss Baird Lira. And so I'm going to find that harassment did occur. And therefore, I'm going to grant the request for an anti-harassment order.
Thank you, Your Honor.
That is it. I promise you, because I already listened all the way to the end. He then, what he does do is include her 3 minor children and her. There is no talk of a firearm restriction, Hector, but I don't know if it's just because he didn't mention it, but they did not talk about it. And I've heard them not do that in Washington State, which is a little bit odd. But I would be worried for them. I would be worried. I would have cameras. Wouldn't you have cameras if you were them? I know. So when I made the video of this, I put a dog in his Zoom square that's barking at him most of the time. Now you can't hear it, but it's just like face. Like in his face. And I just hope that if he ever sees this, I want him to feel as annoyed as he was in real life on the Zoom call. And that was my little way of doing that. I don't like that. Don't involve children. Don't involve dogs. See, it's one thing if the dog was, like out all day and not taken care of properly. That's a different type of consideration. But Cellular Yoga says it right here. He doesn't get that what he said was wrong, and that is the scary part. I don't know that he should either. Wait, you mean she gets an order against me? Yes, sir. Somehow, do I think that this will be the end of Ted in this court? Not really. No, I don't. But I do know that this is the end of our Zoom meeting for tonight. Zoom meeting, our YouTube stream. whatever it's called. You guys, thank you so much. I did a lot of work this morning transferring a bunch of old Webster cases onto my editing area so that I can record new ones and work on those. I also got this posted on the channel. Do me a solid, because it really helps me out. Go check out this video on the video page of the channel and give it a like and a comment. That would be amazing. You know how YouTube Daddy is with those comments. Crack to him. Anyways, I love you guys so much. Remember that. I love you. I am proud of you. And I will see you in the next video. Bye.
One by one, billion by billion, they're holding up half the sky. Raise your hand if you're ready and willing. If you know it's time. Time for a girl on time. Time for a girl on time.
Hey, thank you so much. I just saw that. That gets. Thank you so much, MB. I love you. Appreciate all your support always. PP support's amazing. You guys never had PP support before? Give that a try. Love you. Thank you so much. I appreciate each and every one of you. Those of you that can give, I appreciate that so much. And if you don't want to or you can't, I'm just glad you're here. I love you. Bye. All right, outro one more time because I like it.
One by one, billion by billion.